There's something powerful about the journey of leadership, the daily steps, the long-term vision, and everything we learn along the way. Welcome to Leadership Labs, where we explore these journeys with the incredible leaders of Aurora Public Schools. In each episode, we hear from those who are helping guide our district toward Destination APS, sharing their stories, their challenges, and the lessons they've learned along the way. Today, I'm joined by Hannah Lecount, principal of Vassar Elementary, in her first year as a principal. After 20 plus years in education, from the classroom to instructional coach to IB coordinator to assistant principal, this year Hannah made the leap to the principalship. And when I checked on her mid-year, she said she was feeling fantastic, which I was so glad to hear, and called herself so lucky to be here and reflecting about Vassar. So made me curious to want to explore what it takes to thrive in that critical first year of school leadership. Hannah, welcome to Leadership Labs.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about who you are first, and then what you've learned makes the Vassar community so special.
Yeah. Do you want me to go start way back when?
Who are you? Yeah. Where are you, from Colorado?
No. Okay. So basics. I am from New England. I'm from Massachusetts. One of my fun facts is that my hometown, Wellesley, Massachusetts, we have the oldest high school rivalry in the country. It dates back to 1882. And so Wellesley High School, our rivals are Needham. But it's the oldest, especially for football games.
Wow.
Oldest one in the country. And so that's where I'm from. And I started teaching in Massachusetts before moving out west.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What other things are interesting about you? How long have you been in Colorado?
Been in Colorado.
APS?
Been in Colorado since 2007. I taught in Englewood schools for a number of years, and that's where I taught, and then moved into the IB coordinator and instructional coach role there. And that's where I was when I got my admin license at DU. And when I was ready to move into the admin role, Englewood is just so small, there just wasn't wonderful opportunity there. And I had known Kathleen Shiverdecker. She was one of my cohort instructors at DU.
Yeah.
And so she really introduced me to APS, and working with her at DU was magnificent. And so she's the one who really brought me over here.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I've been in APS since 2019. Heather Stewart hired me as her AP.
Awesome. Yeah. Tell us now a little bit about what makes Vassar so special.
Vassar has been amazing, and I am so lucky to be here. It was a really unique situation where Stacy Stewart, the retiring principal, had been there 19 years. And so, big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
And I think especially the staff who had been there many years, I think probably some anxiety about getting someone new after that many years. But I can tell what Stacy values is hiring really wonderful human beings, because the entire team is just so hardworking, loves children, incredibly supportive of each other, go above and beyond every day to support one another and to do what's best for kids. And so it's honestly been just such a positive transition for me. And we've grown a lot together, and there's a lot of trust now, so that next year we can really fly now that we know each other.
What's y'all's mascot?
The Prairie Hawk.
That's right. Yeah. I didn't want to get wrong with eagle or something.
No, we are a Prairie
Hawk. As you're
Hawk.
talking about flying.
Yes.
Next year. Yeah. That's right. Cool. So you're in your first year as principal. Just tell us how year one has gone for you and the Vassar community so far.
It's been,
we have 3 weeks to go.
It's been incredible. So just to start off with some data, we like to measure how we grow from year to year, not just growth within a year, to really measure whether we're closing the gap for kids and providing more opportunity. So we just are finishing up iReady today, actually.
Right.
There were just a few makeups. We wanted to do it early. So here's what's super exciting. At the end of year last year to the end of this year, we have increased students reading at proficient level, students in the green, by 5%,
wow,
which is huge.
Yeah.
And we've decreased students at risk for tier 3 by 6%. And so if we are able, again, to continually make those 5% to 10% gains every year, that's our goal. And so our data is in a really great place. We're really excited to get our CMAS results back. Another big celebration is our community partnerships and really transforming Vassar into that schools as community hubs model. Last year, I believe Vassar had 2 partnerships. This year we have 22.
Wow.
We had set a goal for, I think, 5, and we surpassed it. Working with Tilly, our family liaison, is amazing. And so due to her, we have 22 community partnerships.
Wow.
We've also established a well-attended monthly coffee and a well-attended quarterly SAC. So one of our biggest celebrations is really changing the experience for parents and families and making it shifting to more of a model where parents are our partners and we're going to do this together, and inviting them in more, from volunteers to just being in classrooms to participating in decision making. So that's been really special.
Amazing. Let's go back to, I guess, the Massachusetts days. You're a career educator. Can you tell us what drew you to education initially?
Yes, I have always loved school. From preschool, I started preschool when I was 3. Loved elementary school, middle school, high school. Wellesley public schools are some of the best performing and most rigorous in the country. And so I grew up with the exemplar for what a meaningful, rigorous public education should be. My mom's also she was also a teacher. She taught middle school and high school science, and she made it to the final round of Teacher of the Year in the state of Massachusetts when I was in middle school. So I have been surrounded by exemplary educators my whole life, from my own teachers. I can name every single teacher I've had, to my mom. And I love school. And I did not major in education in college. I actually majored in economics and Spanish because I just loved studying those subjects. And I tried to not work in education for 1 year after I graduated, and I was in a cubicle in a corporate world, and I hated it. And so my now husband and I decided we needed to go back to school. And so we went back to Boston, and I went to grad school, got my master's and license in elementary ed. In Massachusetts, you have to have a master's to teach. And he went to law school. And so then I started my teaching career in Massachusetts, but it's really just my love of public education.
That's great. Can you walk us just briefly through your journey from the transitions from, teacher to coach to AP, and now to principal?
Being a teacher is such a fun, amazing job. Creating a community of learners is the most special thing ever. Yeah. And I love that. And I taught for 7 years. And then there was an opportunity in my school in Englewood to move up to that IB coordinator coach role. And I could have kept teaching, but I knew it was a great opportunity, and I wanted to broaden my impact and really start working with adults and learning how to work with adults and lead adults and coach adults. And so I did that for about 7 years, and then moved into administration. And I knew I was ready for admin when I was ready to make a bigger impact, and also not much made me nervous anymore. And so I wasn't afraid of parents. I could have hard conversations. And so I think it was just feeling really comfortable with working with adults and just, again, wanting to make a bigger impact.
Talk to us about the transition from AP to P.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was really lucky. So as an AP, I learned everything from Heather Stewart, and I got to work with her for 2 years. And she immediately, day one, it was a collaborative approach, had me, leading things on first day. And then with Joe Taylor as well, we had very much a co-principal model. And so I got really tremendous experience doing a lot of the things that I'm doing now, in a really safe, supportive environment too, because Heather and Joe would just support me. And so when I was ready to make that leap to principal, I think I was just ready. I'm like, I want to do this, on my own. I want to be the principal. And then the Vassar position opened up, and that's like my dream school. It is a beautifully diverse school, racially, linguistically. It also had center-based programming, which really drew me to that school. And Montview didn't have any center-based programs. And again, the people are just wonderful. So I got my dream job for sure. And I'm incredibly lucky to be there.
I don't remember if I asked you this in the finalist interview, but I say it, I feel like I say it oftentimes when we have potentially first year principals coming into role, just that I heard a long time ago that the the office of the assistant principal is very close to the principal's office, but the role itself is like a mile away. And I joke and say, and I disagree. I think it's like 100 miles away.
Yeah.
And tell us, what in your experience best prepared you to, be confident and ready for, the principalship?
Well, I think one thing to know is there are so many people to support you, and you're not doing it alone. Like literally there is a person for that. When you have a question,
Yeah.
there is someone here in APS for anything you need help with. And so I think knowing that, it makes it less scary. That would be advice that I would have. I do think one skill or maybe value that I have brought into the principalship that I've had all along since being a teacher is how you treat people. And every single day, every single kiddo in their classroom gets a fresh start. And they're looking to see how you engage with them every single day. And are we treating every single kiddo? Do we show them that they are seen, they're appreciated, they're valued, right? They're part of this community. Even if I'm having an off day, you can't let them know that, right? And so that absolutely transfers over for me for leadership. And so with my staff, no matter what has happened, every single day is a fresh day. And I will always treat every single person who comes in that door in a kind, compassionate, respectful way, no matter what. So that is a skill. I think that transfers from teaching to coaching to leadership for sure.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. As I telegraphed in the intro, I checked in with you mid-year, and you said you're feeling fantastic and so lucky to be here. And that's not always how that first year is described. What has just made it feel so good for you?
Well, I think it's a lot. One, I think I just got really lucky with the team that I was able to join. Wonderful people. I think another thing I think is just who you surround yourself with and who are your mentors. And so I would say surround yourself with positive, consistent, calm, supportive people.
Yeah.
And like who you're reaching out to. And what else? I don't know. I think just this is a really fun job. I don't know. How lucky are we that we get to lead this building? Like we get to engage with kids, with adults, with parents every single day. It's super fun and challenging. And I think like all the highs and the lows are worth it. Like it's all part of it. But at the end of the day, what we're creating is incredible. And it is really fun.
You've mentioned Heather, Joe, Shiv. Are there any other like mentors that you'd like to shout out, or folks who you look to or call on or learn something from?
Yeah, definitely Heather and Mario. I'd say they are probably the two I call the most, for sure. Marquita was really supportive ever since I met her, honestly. And gosh, who else? I'm like trying to think. I don't hesitate to pick up the phone or email when I need to.
Cool.
Yeah. My executive coach is wonderful. Marquita set me up with an executive coach, and she's been so helpful this first year.
Good. What has surprised you the most about being a principal versus being an assistant principal?
I think just how fun the job.
Oh, good.
I think there's always some nervousness, like I'm like, am I ready? I don't want to fail. I don't like failing. And I think there was just always that worry in the back of my head. Like, what if I screw this up? And
there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. And, and then your support team is like, no, you're not going to screw it up. It's going to be fine. You are ready. You've got this. And, and so I think it's just been surprising how fun it's been. And, I really do love coming to work every day.
What's been your proudest moment of year one?
I think all the work we've done with parents in a pretty short amount of time, parents and partnerships in that Big Rock 3 this year for us has been, we've surpassed our goals in every way. Yeah.
As you know, too, we've got a handful of incoming first year principals here in APS. And just curious, what advice you would give to someone about to start their first year.
My advice is to sweat the small stuff. And when something feels off or something happens that doesn't meet our expectations of how we treat each other, how we show up, address it. Again, everyone is watching, and they pay attention to what you celebrate and what you hold accountable, what you hold people accountable to. And so my advice is to sweat the small stuff and have That's those great. Difficult conversations no matter what.
Love it.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you wish you knew before starting in this role?
Just like I mentioned earlier, that there's a person for that. There is a support person in APS to help you with literally anything that you would help with. So not to be nervous about that.
Good. And are there any leadership books or resources, a podcast or PD that has really helped you or supported you through this first year?
Yes, I am a big reader and podcast listener and audiobook listener. I have always loved Bambrick Santoyo's work. Cool. So I have read like Leverage Leadership and Data-Driven Instruction at least a few times each over the last X number, over the last 7 years or so. I also love Atomic Habits, which I read for more personal reasons, but I think there's some really cool ideas and strategies in that book. I've read some that you have recommended, like the five dysfunctions of a team. That was one that you had recommended on social media, and I read that, loved it. Like case studies, anything. All like leadership stuff I love. I'll even listen to How I Built This, which is a podcast not unique to education, but it's just like leadership and success stories. There's Coaching Real Leaders, which depending on the episode, I might tune in. That's a good one. And Elena Aguilar's Bright Mornings podcast I've listened to like historically as well.
Yes, good.
Yeah.
What about music wise? What songs or artists have been on your most playlist this year?
I'm a very nostalgic person, so I have been jamming out to a lot of 90s music lately. My kids know all like 90s artists, so it's been a lot of like TLC, Nirvana, Green Day, Boyz II Men.
Yeah. Good.
Do you know these artists?
I don't know. Listen, I've got this is the 30th year anniversary. This album came out in 1994. It's my favorite album of all time.
Okay, all right, good.
So my jam is 90s hip hop.
I love 90s hip hop.
Yeah.
So lots of 90s is what's been playing.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Lightning round. What does Destination APS mean to you and the Vassar community?
Opportunity.
Good. And as you finish year one and look toward year two, what excites you the most?
Ready to fly. Yep. We trust each other. We've got our core team. We know what we're doing. Ready to fly, Prairie Hawks.
And then last question is, what message would you share with aspiring principals about making the leap?
Yeah. Go for it. Find your trusted inner circle of mentors who you know will be there for you as a sounding board, and you'll pick up the phone whenever you need them. And go for it. You'll learn a lot about yourself as a leader.
Yeah. All right. Well, Hannah, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about your first year journey with us. Your story reminds us that with the right preparation, strong mentorship, a genuine love for the work, that critical first year can be not just survivable, but truly fantastic. And that I would say Vassar and the Aurora Public Schools community is really lucky to have you. And so, join us next time as we continue exploring the paths of those who are helping guide us toward Destination APS. Until then, keep running your race with purpose.
Thanks, Jesus.
Thank you.